Okay, so we should be good to go now. What you see here is, and you've got a copy of it, so you can look at yours or you can look at mine up front. We have 3 sets at the top of this page, 3 sets of categorical data. Okay? This data did not come from this class. It came from a class that I collected data from in 2014. But I just wanted some categorical data, and I wanted a small enough data set that we could deal with it relatively well in class. So that's why I've just saved this one and used it over and over again. So in this case, we're talking about our first set of data is eye color. Now that's definitely just nominal level data. Remember, we're going to review a little bit of language as we go through so you won't forget chapter 1. Eye color is nominal level data. You can't rank order eye colors. You know, one's not better than another one, except in personal opinion, but everybody doesn't agree that blue eyes are the best or brown eyes are the best or whatever. So we have here some eye colors. Now there is one, maybe 2 obvious issues, and we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, what are we going to do with those 2 issues. Because if you let people simply self-report rather than check off one of a set of boxes, you're going to get answers like 2 of these answers. What 2 answers or data values do you see here that are going to present a problem when we start trying to categorize this data? Yes?
The hazel, but I wear blue contacts.
Yeah, I mean, how are we going to count that?
Marital status, interrelationship, engaged, not married.
The green blue eyes.
Okay, the green-blue eyes is a problem. The marital status, in a relationship, there's a couple of those, so I guess we could actually quantify them by themselves. The engaged, I see 1. So I think we can just take all of those because we didn't give them a checklist. You know, marital status, you're single, married, or divorced most of the time, but, you know, widowed is a category 2, and it's not in here. Dating is not a marital status, but, you know, we can accept that as a marital status. We don't have to force it into single. You know, I know people that are married, they're still dating, that probably shouldn't be, but it's the way things are. So we'll deal with marital status, okay. Anybody see any issues with birth month? Any problems with birth month? No. I don't know if all the months are dealt with or not. We'll have to see when we quantify. But the 2 big ones are eye color. What are we going to do with the person that says their eyes are hazel, but they wear blue contacts?
Can you get rid of them, not use them?
You could, but you would have to report them as non-responsive or other because it's going to mess with your sample size. What about the one that said green-blue? Which way are we going to count them? That's kind of a problem too, isn't it? Okay, well, we could, as data collectors, make lots of different, very reasonable decisions. We could, as you said, just say, okay, chuck those 2 out. They didn't answer the question. Or just make a category, and that's probably the best thing to do, is to make a category that says other. Okay? So what we're going to do here then is we're going to make something called a frequency table. And we can actually make it in Excel, but I think for this one, I think we're actually going to go through and make it by hand just so that you can have more of a feel for how you do this. Now you can do it on your same set of paper. Actually, I think I can do it on this sheet, just do it right above here, because there's not that many categories. So what we're going to do when we make a frequency table, what you're doing with a frequency table is you're going to need 2 columns. The first one is going to be the data values. Basically, it's the answer to the question that you asked to collect that data. So the data values we're looking at here are eye color. And then the other one is going to be the frequencies. But frequency is the same as count. How many? Okay? So the first thing we notice as we go through here, I'm going to use color to help me keep track. First one as we go through here, the first color that I see is green. So let me grab a green marker. And I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people that reported just green eyes. Okay, did I miss any? Does everybody get 7? Okay, so you put the eye color green, and the frequency for green eyes is 7. Excuse me? Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, I realized that I was looking at it and you weren't seeing it. That's why I wanted you to have yours in front of you too. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing again, only the next eye color that I see in the list is brown. Well, I don't have any brown markers, so I guess the next best thing to do for brown is I'll use my yellow marker. So for brown, I see 1, 2, 3. Does everybody agree we have 3? So for brown, we have 3. And the next one I see on the list is blue, which is apparently a very popular eye color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, as I kind of skimmed through there, I noticed something that I didn't notice before we made the determination that we were going to make a category called Other, and we still are. But this person actually said they have hazel eyes. That is their actual eye color. And then this person actually also has hazel eyes. So we don't have to put that person in the other category. The fact that they wear contacts wasn't part of the question. We didn't ask, well, what color eyes do you have when you wear your contacts? We said, what color are the eyes that you were born with? Okay? So we have 2 that have hazel eyes. And that means that the only one now that we have not categorized in some way is the person that said green blue. Now we could list green blue as a category. That would be one way to deal with it. Green blue and there's one person. Or we can simply list the other one, the last category as other, and there's one in that. I'm going to let y'all decide which way do we want to call that last category that this person falls in. What are we going to name that category? Because it really doesn't matter since there's only going to be one person in there. Do we want to call it other or do we want to call it green blue? Other? Okay. Because that way if we were to do this again and you went around and asked people what color eyes do you have, somebody that said black, because there are people whose eyes are dark enough brown that they almost look black. Or somebody that said violet, which actually is kind of not a natural color, but I have seen people that had eyes that were so blue they were almost the color of violets. Well, those would all fall into other. It would also help with the people that, and there are lots more people like this than you think there are, that have eyes of two different colors. And that may have been what this person was trying to figure out. Maybe they had one green and one blue. That's not uncommon. Okay? And gray is not on there, and there are people that have gray eyes. So this category would help us take care of anybody that was a really small category, or maybe something that was ambiguous. So we have a frequency distribution. Is it hard to make the frequency distribution?
No.
No, because what do you have to be able to do? Just count. You do have to make some statistical decisions about what to do about odd values, but you can still just count. Okay, keep that table handy, and I want you to go. Now, you can do this on your iPad if you've already got Microsoft Office downloaded on your iPad, which you are entitled to have for free. Is there anybody that was not aware you could download Office 365 onto your iPad or your computer or both for free because you're a student? Does everybody know how to do that if you want to? If you don't, shoot me a message and I will direct you to the link, but it is on your My Northeast page, and it explains to you how to get it.
It says month's expired. I don't know what to do about that.
You should be able to just renew it. Check in with computer services. I'll have to get you a name that you can contact, because that, as long as you're a student, that subscription should still be good. Okay? But, excuse me. But for the time being, in order for us to have consistency today, what I would rather you do, rather than trying to do it on an iPad and me have to go back and forth, because the iPad Excel does not work like the computer Excel. They're a little different. So I want everybody to open up Microsoft Excel on the computer. I will post videos for how to do all these same things using your iPad only with Office 365. But for today, just to keep us all on the same page, we're going to use Excel on the computer. And if there's not a link, all you need to go do is go to your Start button and choose Excel 2016. Okay? And then just choose an empty workbook. And you don't need to do what I'm about to do, just get Excel open for yourself. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the font size for the whole spreadsheet so you can see it better. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take those eye colors, but we're going to use the frequency distribution, and we're going to type that frequency distribution into Excel. So in the first row, in the first column, type the word eye color, or the words eye color. And then once you've done that, put your cursor between A and B there at the top. Can everybody see where my cursor is at the very top, between A and B? It points down. Double click when you get that little black arrow. And that automatically sets your column wide enough that you can see the words eye color. Then I want you to move. Kill myself on that chair before it's over with. Then I want you to move to column B, but still row 1, and we're going to type the word frequency. And again, we're going to go between B and C and double click. So now we have 2 columns titled the way we need them titled. And in column 1 under eye color, we're going to type in the choices that we have in our table. green, brown, blue, hazel, and other. And then in the frequencies, we're going to type the number of people that had each of those eye colors. Now, that's a nice plain table, but we probably would like to fancy it up a little bit. So I'm going to put some grid lines in it because I'm going to click on eye color and then drag down to the number 1. So I've selected the whole table. Click and drag to select your whole table. And then if you look right straight up above where it says font, there's a little picture of borders. When you hover over it, it should say bottom border or something about borders. Click that arrow. Open up the drop-down menu. And we're going to put borders around all of the cells in the table. So we're going to choose all borders.
How did you get it to do that? Because every time I did it, it just changed it from the eye color. Yeah, 'cause like all of that down there.
Here, and then go. Okay, and the one you're looking for is right there. Okay? Now, if you're stuck, if the person next to you can help you, that's fine. If you want me to come and help you, let me know. Okay? Now, what we're going to make with this is a type of chart that can be used with either qualitative or quantitative data. In fact, we're going to make 3 different kinds of charts today. The first chart is going to be something I'm sure you've seen somewhere, either on the internet or in a magazine or in a newspaper or in a news report, somewhere. You've seen a pie chart. Why do they call a pie chart a pie chart?
Because it's a circle, and then it looks like pie.
Yeah, it looks like pieces of the pie, right? Are the pieces always exactly even?
No.
No, because some of the categories have bigger counts than others, okay? So we're going to make a pie chart. So what we're going to do to make the pie chart, we're going to select the table, and then there's a button at the very top that says Insert. So you keep on going over on that ribbon. This is called the Insert ribbon. And you want to pick the one that looks like a pie chart, which is right there. Now, don't just click that one. I want you to do is I want you to see the different kinds you can make. You can make one that's just a plain flat pie chart. Or you can make one where it pulls out one segment of it to the side. We don't really want to do that. We don't want to make a donut chart, and we don't want to make a 3D pie chart, and I'll tell you why. Both of those, because a donut and a 3D pie chart are 3-dimensional. When you start making pie charts and make comparisons with 3-dimensional charts, then the difference between the categories becomes magnified. It makes differences look like they're larger than they are, okay? That was one of the things we talked about a little in chapter 1. So we want to do a very simple 2D pie chart. So it's the very first one in the top left. Select your data table and then just click on the pie chart and choose the one in the upper left corner of choices. Okay. Make sure your whole page is full. There you go. Okay. Okay? Anybody else? I'm looking to make sure everybody's got a pie chart before we start cleaning it up. We need to all start at the same place. Now, I see some people already playing, that's okay. But when I had you make a pie chart, there's some things I want you to pay attention to here. Number one, I don't like these little boxes at the bottom. I would much rather it make me a pie chart where it labels each segment with what that is. So what I'm going to do is up here at the top, I want you, because as soon as you've got the pie chart, you get 2 new ribbons. You get a design ribbon and a format ribbon. On the design ribbon, the one that's highlighted is the one you're going to see. So right now I'm pointing at the one in the middle, and notice that it gives me the percentages and then the colors are off on the side. The one next to it is the one I already had, and I don't like that one. So sometimes you luck out and you get a good one. But if you don't, this is what I would like for you to do. Quick layout. Go through those and see what different ones do. And I think you're going to agree with me that that one, the very first one in the upper right, is the one that's easiest to understand, because it makes labels inside of each segment that tells you what color that represents. Now, in my case, maybe not in yours because you're working there with a smaller chart, but in my case, it left my labels so small that I think you probably can't see them. So what I did was I just selected all of my labels. I went back to the home button, and I'm going to click the increase font size button until it gets big enough that I'm happy with the way it looks. And notice when I got that big, it popped that label outside there because it knows that that was too big to fit inside anymore. Okay? So you can make yours whatever size you want it to be. Okay? Just make your labels clear to you. Now, next question. If I were titling this chart, would the title of it be frequency? Would that make sense? What should I call this chart so that people know what they're looking at when they see my chart? Yes?
Yeah, they're like eye color distribution.
Eye color distribution, or just eye colors? Eye colors of students from fall 2014. You know, it just depends on how descriptive you want to get. But you want that to say eye color. And while you've got it selected, if you'll just go ahead and type in eye color, it'll change it as soon as you hit enter. Now, I don't like mine because I think it's too small, so I'm going to again increase the font size so y'all can see it better. Okay? Is there anything else we could do to make this look better? Those pieces of pie are all different colors, but not the right color. That's right, they're not the right color. We can leave other just like it is but the only thing is, it's definitely not blue. So maybe other should be, I don't know, maybe just, let's see what looks good. Purple. I've made my whole chart purple now. You got to be careful when you do this. I'm going to leave the other purple, but I'm going to click just that one segment. Now what you'll have to do is you'll have to put your cursor in the segment. Make sure you're not too close to the label because it'll select the label instead of the segment. But click your button twice so that it selects just that one single segment. Okay? Make sure that it's only got one selected. Right click. And choose a different color. Now that's the one that represents green. So let's make those people actually look like they're green. Now if you don't like that color green, you can choose a different color green. Now that's a little bright green, so maybe this is a better green. Okay, so you can play around with different colors of green. This little piece right here says that it's brown. So after I've got it selected, which means you'll see a little tiny blue dot at every corner, but not anywhere else, just on that one piece, then I'm going to change that to brown. So there's my brown-eyed people. And then this big, huge piece here, I want to be blue. Now, what color is hazel?
Like a yellowish.
Yellowish, greenish, brown.
Yeah.
Okay. My grandmother used to call hazel cat eyes because she said that was hazel was the color of a cat's eye. So I'm going to select that one piece, right click, and go pick a color that's kind of like a golden, yellow, brown, sort of, kind of, like maybe like that. Is that a more interesting chart now? It conveys a lot more information, right? You can be professional statistics chart makers now. Now, things that I want you to understand. Yes, Excel does many multitudinous and wonderful charts. But the truth of the matter is, from the consumer standpoint, the simplest is the best. Don't use too many bells and whistles. Don't get too fancy. Simple is best because you want them to see the information, not all the cute stuff you did. Okay? I never, I'm speaking here for me as your teacher, I never want to see that legend out here that tells me what each one of those little segments represents. I want to see the segments themselves represented. If you don't like your labels being inside your segment, you can move it outside. All you have to do is choose your label and drag it outside the segment, and it will automatically put lines in that'll fit for you. So as long as you got little white spots around it, you can drag it outside, and now you have labels that are actually outside the chart and easier to read. So your goal here, in every case, is to make your charts easy to read and easy to understand. Because we don't want to be like the people that produce charts that exaggerate the information and try to mislead somebody. We want ours to look like the data really should say that it looks. Okay? Now, once you click off your chart, there's only one other thing that you'll notice is a problem. Your chart tends to kind of disappear into Excel now. You can do one of two things. You can either change the background color for the chart, or you can put a border around the chart. So if you just click that, and then right click out here in the outside area, somewhere where you're not on the chart, and you go to Format Chart Area, and you'll get choices out here. You can choose a different fill color. Right now it's filled with white, but if I tell it solid fill and let you something kind of light colored so we can see better, so you can make your chart have a different color. Or you can leave it white and click the border instead and tell it to make a border and have your border be black around it. And now when you click off of your chart, it does kind of pop out at you. Now, I don't have any hard and fast rules about making it have a background color or having a border. The only goal I have is that you produce for me a chart that is simple and easy to understand. Okay? Simple and easy to understand. Does anybody have any questions about pie charts? Because I'm going to turn you loose in a little while and have you make pie charts of two of the other sets of data. Okay, the next kind of chart that can only be used for categorical data, you would never use the type of chart I'm going to show you now for quantitative or numerical data, is a bar chart. A bar chart is only used for categorical data. There's also a special kind of bar chart called a Pareto chart, and it's used with categorical data. Now, sometimes I have seen people use a Pareto chart for numerical data, but you really shouldn't, because numerical data doesn't really fit with a bar chart. And I'm going to give you the distinctions between them as we come to it. Let's make a bar chart of that same data. We're going to make a bar chart kind of the same way we did the pie chart. We're going to click in that table, drag down, and drag right, and select only the table itself, nothing else. Only the table. Okay? And then you go up to Insert again, because we're going to insert another chart. You go over to the middle, and it'll give you recommended charts, but we're going to pick our own. I want you to choose the one in the top left. It says Insert Column or Bar Chart. Okay? And again, I want you to choose the simplest one, which is the first 2D pie chart. Simple is better. Now I'm going to drag my pie chart over here out of my way so that we can work on the bar chart. So there's my bar chart. And I have the same problems with my bar chart that I had with the pie chart. Frequency does not make any sense for the title, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to change that title to eye color. And you don't have to do this, but I'm going to increase the font size so that you can see it better. And then I'm going to select the bottom axes and do the same thing, just so that you can see it better. So now I've got a pretty decent bar chart. But again, I want to color my segments to match my eye colors. So I want the first bar to be green. So I click on the first bar and then I click again to select just the first bar. So select the bars by clicking on any of them and then click the one you want. So I'm going to change the first one. And over here I've still got my format data points, so I'm going to go to fill color and I'm going to choose green. Then I'm going to click the middle bar, and if you don't want to use the one over here on the side, just right click on the bar and it'll open up one for you close there. And this is my blue bar, so I want to pick a pretty blue color. And then click on the brown one and right click and choose something that's really brown, and then hazel, right click and choose the one we had before, and then other, we're just going to make that one purple. Now if you don't like purple, pick something else. Okay? And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a border around my whole chart. So we have two different charts that give us the same information. Which one do you like better? You like the pie chart better? Why? I do too right now. Why?
It looks easy round.
It's round. Right now, the pie chart's giving you more information than the bar chart is. What's the bar chart missing as far as information?
Percentages.
It's not telling you percentages. You're getting counts. You can tell how many people had green eyes. That's between 6 and 8, which is 7. And you can tell that there were 12 that had blue eyes, but it's not as easy to see those numbers now, is it? Now you can fix that with your chart selected. Go back to design and that quick layout button. Pass through all of them and see if you see one you like better. I kind of like the one that has the counts on the top of the bars. So if I pick that one, I've got a pretty nice looking bar chart, except for the fact now I've lost my chart title. But I can put one back. So that's a little more informative. At least I've got counts now, and if I increase the font so that you can see them better, that makes it a little easier to see. Now if you want to fool with it, you can actually get it to give you the percentages on the bar chart too. But the counts does help. You can see that you have almost twice as many people with blue eyes as green eyes. And that brown, hazel, and other combined is only equivalent to the green eyes. So apparently there were a lot of blue-eyed people that fall. Okay? Any questions about your charts? Anybody need help? Okay, we're gonna make one more chart. But to make this one more chart, I want to make something called a Pareto chart. A Pareto chart. A Pareto chart is a bar chart where the blue bar is going to come first, the green bar is going to come second, the brown bar is going to be third, the hazel bar is going to be fourth, and just like it is here, the other bar is going to come last. In other words, I want my bars to be in descending order. And the reason I want that is because if I have them in descending order, I can see immediately that the most popular color, the most common color was blue, followed by green, then brown, then hazel, then other. Now the way that you do that, and I'm going to copy this so I don't mess it up. So I just selected my chart and copied it over here. Now what I'm going to do is I have the whole chart selected, and there's a button over here, and this is on the home ribbon, so be sure that you're at home here. Come over to almost the end of the ribbon, and you'll see an A to Z with a little funnel next to it. Okay? It says sort and filter. Okay, I want you to click the little tiny arrow so that we can see the drop-down menu. And I want to do a custom sort because I have two. So I don't want it to alphabetize the eye color and then put the others in numerical order because that destroys my pair relationship. What I want to do is I want to choose custom sort, and I want to sort by the frequency, and then it'll carry the others with it. And I want it to sort from largest to smallest. So those are your two choices. You click the little funnel up there, you choose the custom sort, and then when it says sort by, choose the frequency column, and now you're on order, you want it largest to smallest. And when you hit OK, it sorts your chart out for you. So you don't have to. I'm going to come around and help people with that because sometimes that's a little tricky.
Sort by frequency. Largest to smallest.
Just click OK, and it will automatically change it. Okay? The only thing you want to do with this is you want to change that word frequency to icon. Okay? Anybody else have any problems? Sweep right down in line. I'm sorry, not to insert. Sort first. Sort filter. Custom sort. You want to sort by frequency, largest to smallest. Now, make another pie chart. Because that's what we're going to do is we're going to make a pie chart of that. Or not a pie chart, a bar chart. Sorry, a bar chart. Notice it's put it in order. Okay, so everybody got their tables sorted? Okay? Select your copy. Custom sort. Sort by frequency. And instead of smallest to largest, you want to go largest to smallest. Okay. So you want to do your chart, your table. Now, I want you to make another one of these. Okay. Don't use that one. Make a new one. Okay? Make another bar chart. With the table is fixed. sort of like that one, it would be different because the bottom couldn't be in the same order. Okay, has everybody got their new data tables sorted now? Where it goes from largest to smallest. Anybody not? Okay. I'm going to move this chart over out of the way. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to select my sorted data table, my frequency distribution. I'm going to go to Insert, go to the 3D bar chart, and there's my table. So I'm going to retitle it iColor. And again, this is just me making this bigger to help you. Now the purpose of the Pareto chart, I'm actually going to overlap this a little bit so you can see the bigger chart. The purpose of a Pareto chart like this is a little bit different from what the purpose of the bar chart is. This Pareto chart is used a lot in business and industry, and one of the things, for example, they use it for is if you have, let's say, causes of loss to the company's profit. And they have categories like damaged materials, weather conditions, late shipments, employee theft, and other. And it turns out that damage to shipments is coming up first. It would be the first bar. So they would analyze that data. They're going to want to know what the number one cause of their loss of profit is. They may want to know what the number one cause of late shipments is. And they may have to gather data about that and try to figure out what's causing the shipments to be late. So this is a really useful kind of chart in a lot of different areas. So that's a Pareto chart, but the only difference in a Pareto and a bar chart is that the Pareto has its categories in order from largest to smallest. And the way that you make it has to be by rearranging the data table itself. But Excel's really quick at doing all those things. Okay? Okay, next thing. We're going to learn how to insert a new sheet. So I want you to click your plus sign, and it brings up sheet 2. Here's what I want you to do. I'm just trying to get some things out of the way here so you can see better, so bear with me a second. I want you to go back to this table of data, and I want you to go to the bottom of the page. Favorite types of pets. I want you to type that table into Excel. Duplicate that table in Excel.
When we always do that for the work, but all it's saying is like from the top of the bottom, just so it connects.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you that. Do you think the title of that data table is appropriate? No, to me it isn't, because this is different types of pets. Well, excuse me, I have a number of pets at my house that don't match any of those. Okay? Because I've got a Pekingese, I've got a Shih Tzu, I've got 3 tuxedo cats, 1 black Persian cat, 2 calico cats, and a tabby. And I have 15 chickens of different breeds. And I have an Arabian gelding. So my types of pets don't fit any of those. So should we just call that types of dogs?
Should we put favorite types of dogs?
Okay, I think that's even better. Because apparently these people are telling you what their favorite kind of dog is, right? So favorite types of dogs, that's even better. That's much more descriptive. So you're learning, that's good, I appreciate that. Because you're trying to be informative, and that is the whole point. So I'm gonna put a border all the way around, just because. And now here's what I want you to do. I want you to make me a pie chart of these pets, these dogs. And I want you to make me a Pareto chart of the dogs. So a pie chart and a Pareto chart. And I'm going to come around and help you. Now before I do that, I'm going to give you a few minutes to work, and I'm going to create both of those for you so that you can see what you should wind up with, or something similar to what you should wind up with. Okay, so there's the two charts, so you know what you're aiming for. Now, you can make yours different colors, you can make them prettier or however you want to, but you need to have those two kinds of charts. As long as they're legible and they present the information to me in a nice, clean format, that's fine. Now, if you need help, raise your hand, I'll come help you. But I'm gonna give you the rest of the assignment that you're to do, and you need to get this done by 11:55 tonight and submit it, or well, you don't have to get it done by 11:55 tonight. You need to submit the rest of the assignment before I see you on Wednesday. Let's just put it that way. Okay, the rest of the assignment is that you're gonna add 2 more sheets.
Do we need to label the sheets as well?
You can. I haven't showed you how yet. I will toward the end of class. But you need to insert 2 more sheets. And what I want you to do with those 2 additional sheets on your own, I want you to do marital status and birth month. And the directions are make pie chart, and bar chart. I'm not going to make you make a Pareto chart of the birth months or the marital status.
So what is the difference between a bar chart and a
Pareto chart is where the tallest bar comes first, which means you have to rearrange your data table like I did here.
Yeah.
Okay? But just a plain old bar chart, it can be any order you want it to be. Okay? And in the case of the favorite, you know, of the birth month, there's no real, I wouldn't necessarily want to look and see where most of my students were born. That's not something that I would necessarily want to have jump out at me, because I would assume that my students would be relatively spaced out among all the months, although you may find that they weren't. Okay? Now, if you need to take a break, class is over with at 2:40. That means we've got 40 minutes for you to complete this whole entire assignment during class. And if you go ahead and complete it, what you want to do when you complete it is you want to save the whole file as a PDF. So after everybody looks like they've kind of gotten a good start on it, I'll show you how to save the whole file as a PDF. Because if you save the whole file as a PDF, then I can grade it very easily, and you can upload it to Shobi very easily. Okay? So we're going to save this to a PDF. Yes. No. Just one for each one. I want you to have plenty of time to work on it, so I don't want to try to overload you doing too much. Okay?
They need to be on separate sheets or just have.
They need to be on separate sheets. You should have 4 total sheets in that workbook.
Yes, I think one of them doesn't actually do that.
Okay, you already know it. Over toward the middle. Okay, looking down arrow, that means she's 2D. Okay, there's where the problem is. This is my first one. When you do this, you don't want any empty spaces in there. You let that whole column line. So what you're gonna do is kind of frequency there, and then automatically space it on. How you want frequency. Just delete that short. Highlight your whole chart. Okay, now go back to the start. There you go. I'd rather that happen while you're in class, not help you at home with your stuff. That's why I like to let you do this in class.
So, should we treat like in a relationship as just like saying in a relationship and engaged and dating other?
I'm gonna leave that up to you because there's not a right or a wrong answer to that question. When marital status is put up there, what does marital status say to you? And then group it accordingly. I may have different answers from different people. That's okay. I want you just to present me with the information as clearly as you think it needs to be presented, okay? Everybody's not necessarily gonna have the exact same pie chart or bar chart with that information. You have some decisions to make. There's not a right or wrong decision, just make it clear to me what your decision was. The only decision I'm not gonna allow you to make is to throw out any of the data. You have to use all the data. Now, y'all work for a couple of minutes, and I'm gonna go around the corner because I've got something I'm gonna pick up that I have for all of you. Quick questions. Anybody in here at Education 1030?
College and lifelong learning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So those of you that raised your hands, do you already have one of these?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, make use of it. I'm gonna distribute the rest of them. So I'm just gonna have you pass them down. If you have leftovers, pass them back. Do we need more? Just pass it back then. If you don't need one, just pass it back. You already have one? Now you do. This will help you keep track of your due dates. And my suggestion is that you color code your classes and put your due dates in there, so that if you're looking for your English class, you look for one color of ink. If you're looking for problem stats, you look for a different color of ink. It'll help you keep on track. Organization is key in being a successful college student. Who needs one in this room? Sarah, you need one? You guys have one? Everybody? Okay. Do you need one? Need one? Anybody else down the road need a planner?